Francophone, 2 fois président, passer le pouvoir à un anglophone. Si on était bien au pays, est-ce qu'on allait prendre la route de l'aventure? Ah, monsieur le président, un pauvre qui vote ou celui qui l'a rendu pauvre. Si on était bien au pays, est-ce qu'on allait prendre la route de l'étranger? Ah, monsieur le président,
Hi, good day to the beautiful people of the Cameroons. Good day to the beautiful people of British Cameroons and to the beautiful people of La République du Cameroon, which got its independence on the 1st of January 1960. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a party political broadcast by myself, Maitre Mola Alex Ndivel, the leader of British Cameroon National Party. Today, I come to talk about the criminality of the CNU rebranded CPDM government headed by Mr. Paul Biya of La République du Cameroon. As a leader of an opposition political party, it is my duty to scrutinize and hold the government to account. Scrutinizing and holding the government to account doesn't mean you hate the government. In a functional democracy, you have a functional opposition. And in the Cameroons, we don't have a functional opposition political parties. All they see, they are concerned about next election, 2025, but they cannot come and tell us since 1984, 1997, the last election, 1998, instead of holding the CNU rebranded CPDM to account, that during the last 7 years, what have you done? Nothing. The roads are bad, nothing. You don't say anything. What are your educational policy? What are their health policy? What are their transport taxation, France CFA, international or diplomacy or whatever policy? These are the things that opposition political parties, they should be doing in the Cameroons daily, on a daily basis, but they don't do it. That's why British Cameroon National Party have come to fill that vacuum. To be an opposition or in government is not just about elections. It's about there's no electricity today. It's about the crime, the poverty rate. What are we doing today? There's accident in our street every day. People are dying every day. People cannot afford health services in the Cameroons. Those are the things that you have to challenge a government if you really want to be an alternative, if you want to be a government in waiting. And we believe British Cameroon National Party is getting the momentum. We are the future. We are the party that is going to replace the CNU rebranded CPDM. Today, I come to talk about the criminality among our government. And as I say, oppositions are there to scrutinize the government, not to praise the government. When I'm on this position, making party political broadcasts, I don't come and praise the government. It doesn't happen in any democracy. Oppositions are there to challenge the government. And that's what I'm doing. And there's only one party in the Cameroons that's doing that. We can look at all the opposition political party in the Cameroons. All of them, you see, they don't scrutinize the government. Either they don't know what is the duty of an opposition, or I don't know what they are doing, because they just sit and they look at the crowd. They think the crowds are not your members. They are not your members. People are idle. Sometimes they want to listen to people. Those crowds, they are not your militants. So we come in. We are speaking to the electorate. That's what we are doing. The criminality of the government of La République du Cameroon is out of bounds. We have seen unelected governor, unelected GO, civil administrator, inciting people to commit crime. And Mr. Biya doesn't say anything. He remains silent. We have seen an unelected civil administrator, the governor of Southwest region, saying that let's terrorize the terrorists. Nobody says anything. That's inciting violence, because terrorism, in accordance to the laws of the Cameroons, is a criminal offense. So if you say, let's terrorize the terrorists, you're saying, let's commit crime to solve crime. How is that possible? That unelected governor should have resigned. But these are criminality, ultra vice. But nobody says anything. Mr. Biya doesn't say anything. The president of the Senate doesn't say anything. The president of the National Assembly doesn't say anything. The parliamentarians, they don't say anything. The senators, they don't say anything. The mayors, they don't say anything. This is a country that we are living in. People are in a position where they don't know how to govern, where they don't know their responsibility. And recently, I've seen the delegate for national security complaining about road transport. Those are the job of an opposition. Mr. Mbaraga is part of the government, so he cannot be complaining. I'm disappointed with Mr. Mbaraga, isn't Gele how they call him. I'm disappointed with him. He's about 90 years old. So at that age, he never knew that the roads in the Cameroons were bad. That's criminality. Because if the roads are not good enough, our people are dying prematurely, it's criminality on the part of the government. It's at the age of 90. I have been highlighting the poor roads, the pigsty in our country ever since I was a teenager. So it took this man, Mr. Mbaragangele, 90 years before he realized it. Mr. Mbaragangele, you need to be in prison. At the age of 90, it's now that you're discovering it rather, that our roads are bad. These people are blind. Ladies and gentlemen, as I say, a government is there to govern the people. And when you want to govern the people, we have constitution, we have other laws. You must follow the law, and nobody is above the law. Since the 1960s, the CNU, rebranded CPDM, have been systematically torturing our people since the days of, Forchive, even before I was born. If you have read Abel Mukon's book, The Prisoner Without a Crime, you hear about balançoire, torture, and the laws of that country said they shouldn't do that. So government officials are committing criminal offense and nobody is pointing it out. It's not only Mr. Biya who should point it out. As a senator, as a parliamentarian, you are entitled to challenge these things. But people call themselves, they don't know the meaning of patriotism. They say they love Cameroon. When they are beating our people, torturing our people, kidnapping our people for ransom, please don't get this wrong. There is only a single body that is responsible to govern that country. And that is the ruling CPDM party. So if government officials are torturing the citizens, civilians, and you go and take a group of civilians in the Cameroons torturing people too, it doesn't add up. Those people are criminals. So a government cannot be competing with criminals. Because a civilian takes a machete and is torturing a civilian, you cannot compare it with the government. Your job as a government is to come in now and make sure you solve that problem. Because the duty of a government is to maintain law and order, is to enforce law, is to assist the people socially and economically. Those are the main functions. So you cannot see and say, look at that civilian. He's doing the same thing, torturing people, the same as us. So you are doing it, we are doing it. No, there's only one government. A government cannot compare itself with criminals. You can't compare yourself. A criminal is a criminal. That's why we have criminal justice system. Because in the Cameroons, the government doesn't seem to understand how to run a country, how to govern a country. They do what I call politics of personalization. The law is a person. The Minister of Territorial Administration come and speak. He doesn't follow the law. Mr. Biya speaks. He doesn't follow the law. Kavaye speaks. He doesn't follow the law. Nyat Fenji speak. He doesn't follow the law. Governors or whatsoever or civil administrators, they speak. They don't follow the law. Before you act, before you do things, you have to look. What do the Constitution say? What do the Penal Code say? Before you do something, you are not above the law. That is why we believe if the CNU government, they genuinely love that country, they should dissolve the government and resign. 60 years of CNU rebranded CPDM is enough. We need people who know how to govern a country to come and sit as parliamentarian and run that country to the right direction and bring that reform that we need and change that archaic constitution that could only be used in the 14th century. Ladies and gentlemen, my focal point today I want to say, is torture a criminal offense? Yes, it is. Is torture a crime against humanity? Yes, it is. Is torture contrary to the Constitution and the laws of the Cameroon? Yes, it is. Is Mr. Biya's government torturing the citizens of the Cameroon? Is it legal? No, it is illegal. It doesn't matter the circumstances. There is no law in the Cameroons that says you should torture a person. It doesn't matter what the person did. It doesn't matter. There is no excuse. If you look at the laws of Cameroon, Article 65 of the Constitution of Cameroon, take note, is the Constitution of the Cameroons. Although I will cite international law, those international laws are part of the Constitution of the Cameroons. Remove that international there, it is the laws of the country. Article 65 says, the preamble of the Constitution is part and parcel of the Constitution. So those international laws are the local laws, national Cameroon laws. That's what Article 65 says. So the Universal Declaration of Human Rights that forbids torture, that's against torture, that says bees, gendarme, police, Mr. Biya, you cannot torture your own citizen, is part and parcel of the Constitution. The Charter of the UN, the Charter of United Nations, which says you cannot torture your citizen, is part and parcel of the Cameroon Constitution. The African Charter on Human and People's Rights, which the government of the Cameroon ratified, is part and parcel of the Constitution of Cameroon. It says you cannot torture somebody. You cannot be cruel to a civilian. You cannot ditch inhumane and degrading punishment to your citizen. That's what African Charter on Human and People's Rights, which is part of Cameroon Constitution, it says. So why are you beating civilians in the Cameroon? Why are you torturing the lives of Longe? Why are you doing that? Why is Mr. Biya not coming out and condemn it outrightly? Why? Where is Mr. Biya? We saw him at the airport on the 21st. Where is it? Where do you govern? You govern a country by going to places, going to the market, going to shops, going to business, going to all the regions, going to the tribes and meet the people. You don't govern the people by staying quiet in a today. That's not how you govern a country. It doesn't happen anywhere in the world. Governing doesn't mean you disappear in the background. And that's why I say, if you look at the Constitution of the Cameroon, Mr. Biya is incapacitated. Again, Article 65 says, all duly ratified international convention is part and parcel of the Constitution. So if the government goes around torturing or treating his people in an inhuman and degrading manner. What does it mean? It means you're committing a criminal offense. It means the CPTM government is committing an offense. I saw this guy, this professor, is it Owonangini? Some people say he's intelligent, but forgive me. I could say his father was an intelligent man. To me, when I look at him, he speaks. These are these pseudo scholars. He has got no clue on what he says. He said they should understand that when they are fighting terrorists and these people, they can torture people or whatsoever. Does he know what's war crime? Does he know what is how you treat war prisoners? There are rules and regulations. You don't have any right to torture even a prisoner. He called them terrorists. And he doesn't distinguish that when you're fighting your citizens, because those people, some of you call Amber, they are citizens of the Cameroons. Whether you're a criminal, it doesn't matter. They are citizens. Some of them, they assume that they pick up arms to fight the government of La République du Cameroon. So, in a court, I would say it's a civil war. When you're fighting civil war, you cannot call them terrorists. They are not terrorists. Russia and Ukraine, they are fighting war. They don't call themselves terrorists. It's a war. War is different from terrorism. So when Professor Owonangini stand and call people whom in quotes I say they are fighting a civil war, that they are terrorists. No, they are not terrorists. They are belligerent. They are fighting you. That's a civil war. You cannot call somebody who is fighting you a government. It's called civil war. It's not called terrorism. There's a difference between terrorism and a civil war. And in a war, that's why sometimes when they arrest prisoner of war, why do they exchange it? America, they exchanged some prisoners with Russia recently, or some detainees. Do you know why they exchange them? You don't exchange terrorists. But when you are in a civil war, you can exchange prisoners. They are not terrorists. They are engaged in a war. And the reason we have the rules and laws and convention of war is because they know that war is legal. The Cameroons is a signatory of, the UN Charter is part and parcel of our constitution of the Cameroons. So the constitution of the Cameroons tells you that you have a right of self-determination. So how can people who are asking for self-determination, you're torturing them? Yes, during war, there's criminality, but it's not terrorism. There's criminality. During war, that's why we have war crimes. And there are people from the side of the government who have been inciting war crimes. And those crimes, when they have to hold you into account, it affects you as an individual. You won't say, oh, it's Mr. Biya who asked me to do this. No, Mr. Atanganji, or the governor of Southwest region. You won't say, oh, it's Betty Asomo. And take note, this torture is a universal jurisdiction. It means you could be tried anywhere in the world. If you come to Britain, we can prove evidence like what they did to Longe. It was done under the eyes of Atanganji. It was done under the eyes of the member of parliament. It was done under the eyes of Seth. We put it in Britain. We put it in any European country, America. They will try you in this country. That's how torture is. And Cameroon is a signatory of this convention. The definition of torture is in the Rome Statute of the ICC. What is torture? Torture is a crime against humanity when it's a widespread or systematic attack on civilian population. So you see, it's a crime against humanity. The Statute of Rome of ICC define it. So what those military people they are doing is a crime against humanity. So why is Betty Asomo asking for investigation? The videos are there. The people who are torturing him, their face are there, their names are there. So what investigation? A crime has been committed. We want to see either the judicial system, if we have one in the Cameroon, investigate the matter, they send it word to the court, and those people stand trial. What has the Ministry of Defense got to do with it? If you want to make a civil trial, it's different. We have a criminal justice system. Let it go through the criminal justice system. You people mix things everywhere. The military, the defense is different. The justice headed by Laurent Asso is different. So I don't understand. That is why Anglophones, some of them, they don't want to stay with you because you confuse everything. The military is to defend the country, mostly from outside forces, but you're using military to try people in the Cameroons. And when they say systematic attack, what does systematic mean? An attack is systematic if it involves an act of violence. We saw it in the Longue video. So many people have been tortured, but I use Longue as an example. It's a celebrity. Everybody knows about it. Systematic attack is it involves an act of violence, such as security forces acting in a coordinated manner. Take note, security forces acting in a coordinated manner. Most of these, whether it's the police, the gendarme, they are acting in a systematic manner. We saw what they did to Martinez Zongo. We saw what they did to Wazizi. University student was taken from the university, passed away in the police station. There are a lot of people who have died and we don't know where they are. We want to know where is the body of Wazizi. No parents, Mr. Biya, should suffer, or family. They should suffer. They don't know how their son, their father was murdered. Then they don't know where the remains are. Do you know that is torture? Torture could be physical and psychological. The fact that Mr. Biya, the president of the Cameroons, disappeared for 49 days, that's torture because the people are uncertain. They don't know where their president is. The fact that the government doesn't give information to the people is torture, be it psychological or physical. We have all been tortured by the government of La République du Cameroon. Not constructing hospital. People are sick. It could be psychological or mental torture or physical too. Not having electricity, not having pipe-borne water, not having good roads. It could be mental, physical, or psychological torture. So torture is in a different ways. Torture doesn't only mean you take something or somebody and you're beating the person, giving the person inhumane and degrading treatment. There is torture. We are all being tortured by the government of La République du Cameroun. And my point is, why should a government in 2024 be criminal? Why? 2024? We are not in the 14th century. No matter what somebody does, there is no law in the Cameroons that says you should torture somebody. So why is Mr. Biya not coming out and condemning? Why is the president of the Senate? Why are all the parliamentarians, do nothing senator, why are they silent? A government is committing crime, terrorize the terrorists, use witchcraft to fight Amber, Atangaji threatening people things that are unconstitutional. Why are you silent? Gregor Wona, where are you? Famdongo, where are you? Ayolo, where are you? Ngongo, where are you? Why do you treat your own African brothers like enemies? We can be political opponent, but I don't hate you, Gregor Wona. I don't hate you, Ngongo. I don't hate you, Atanganji. I don't hate you, Ayolo. I'm simply somebody with a different political opinion, and I'm scrutinizing and challenging you, and I'm holding you to account how you use taxpayers' money. That's what I'm doing. That's politics. An opposition should scrutinize and hold the government to account because an opposition is there to replace you. But I know most opposition political parties in the Cameroons, they are just there to accompany the government. They know the CPDM will win. But us, British Cameroon National Party, if we can challenge you, scrutinize you, and tell the people what alternative we have, we stand a chance to remove you from power. Legally, politically, not by force, because we don't believe in force or violence. And politics doesn't mean it's about hatred, because when you challenge the government, people think you're saying negativity. Politics is a profession. In real democracy, politics is a profession. Opposition should be seen as alternative to government. So I'm calling on Minister Atanganji. You say you're Minister of Territorial Administration. We call it here Home Office. And the first duty of a Minister of Territorial Administration or Home Office, the first duty is the people's safety. That's your first job. Because this Minister Delegate and Territorial Administration is one department. In the UK, it's called Home Office. In South Africa, it's one department called Home Office. So you should know your job. You're there to protect the citizens. They should be safe while they walk the streets in Cameroon. We don't need ministers, unelected ministers, who sit and threaten the sovereign people, ladies and gentlemen. It is very important that Mr. Biya or whoever in the government or Rene Sadi, you people should come out and address this issue of torture. We don't want to hear again that one citizen of the Cameroon is tortured by the police. It should be automatic dismissal. Automatic. They should change the law. And 50 years imprisonment. At least 50 years imprisonment if a police, a gendarme torture a citizen. 50 years imprisonment, automatic dismissal without any pension. That's what I want to hear. We should be tough on crime and the causes of crime. And especially when it's the people who are governing us, they are the ones who are committing the crime. So ladies and gentlemen, this has been a party political broadcast by myself, Maitre Mola Alex Ndiveli Singer, the leader of British Cameroon National Party. Have a blessed day.
C'est toi qui avais nommé, vous l'avez oublié. C'est les mêmes qui sont toujours ministres. Ils vont au quartier pour quelque temps et ils reviennent après. Ils font le tour des ministères. Aujourd'hui, ministre de la communication, demain, ministre